Welcome again to Esiwakago YouTube channel, and I'm here today to give a story to inspire someone. My personal story, and it is about how I ended up uh, in Nairobi and how I came to know about green card. Definitely is because I came to know, I came to be in, I happened to be in Nairobi, and you might think I'm joking, but I am not. But I was the first person in our family to land in Nairobi, and I didn't go there through my parents' permission. No, I didn't even tell them where I'm going. I just escaped Nyeri because a friend of mine who I cherish very much, called Susan, uh, she advised me that if we continue to stay in Nyeri, because by then we had acquired a job at this police post. The police post in Nyeri, it's just one, not the Kingongo one, but the other one, the AP department headquarters. So we used to be working there, and I am the one who invited her to come and work with me at a family that I was supporting to look after their mother. So I went, she came and we worked, but after a while, there were these recruitment of GSU recruitments that used to happen at Roringo Stadium, and we felt like we have the potential. Don't ask me if I went the way and the way I am short. Yes, I know I was short, but I just went there to try a luck, you know. And so we asked our employer if she can allow us to just go back home for a few days so that we can get to go and collect our leaving certificate at the Gogoro High School that I used to school at. And we went there and we did take our leaving certificates. Of course, we had to pay some money for whatever books we had lost and things. So we got it and we were so excited. Now we can go and try becoming GSO. And we came back to Nyeri where we were working, and we had to spend a night at Susan's sister in Nyeri. And the following morning, we woke up very early. I still remember, because she lives in a certain village and it is just one bathroom outside. So we had to shower outside because we couldn't wait for each other because the time was running out. So eventually we were able to shower and we went, we attended the interview, the recruitment at the stadium, and of course there were thousands and thousands of people there waiting to be recruited to become GSU officers, including me. But let me tell you, we never even got to the second, we just got tested for the running, and I think we didn't even get to run. They just looked at us and they were like, you are very short, you can't go, you can't qualify, go. And so we went back home disappointed, frustrated. And when we decided to go now to where we were employed to continue with our job, another frustration came in because the employer, upon seeing us back, she told us, you know what, you guys lost your jobs as soon as you left that door. So little did we know. So we were told to just get in and get our stuff and just leave. And it was so frustrating. I still remember how we walked in the city of Nyeri town, feeling very, very frustrated and not knowing what to do next, where to go. And I remember I just called my cousin, she's called Miriam, and I told her the next thing that I'm gonna want from her is to just keep me in her house for a few days so that I can figure out what to do because they just fired me. She was the same person who had connected me with those my employer. And let me tell you, my employer was a very nice lady, and I was enjoying working with them. It was a lot of work, yes, because I was looking after their mother, and I'll be still the one to attend to the a shop that they had. And in the morning they used to cook for the APs, the police that used to come and dine at the cafeteria. So it was a lot of work, but I was managing and I was young, so I couldn't want to go back home to my father's house or my mother's house, because of course I was tired of that life in the village. The much you can do is to just go get water, and in our village we don't even have the city council water, so we go for water from the river. And it was not so good for me now that I just wanted to shape my future. And somehow when you are in the village, there is a way you feel like life just revolves around there. The farthest you can go is to the coffee plantation and back. And sometimes if you happen to have a trip, maybe a trip to go and find napier grass for the cows, that is when you have traveled to like the next two village. So I was feeling like I want something different. So that's why I was considering just being a patient there and working there, even though it was a lot of work, because looking after the mother who was elderly and taking care of her, and she was bedridden, it wasn't easy. But I was doing it anyway, because in my heart I have that heart of helping people, so I can do anything to just be there. So we found out that we were fired as soon as we hit that door. We didn't know. They could have called us at least to let us know when we are coming back. We just come back like people who are fired. Okay, so I still remember how we walked in the city of Nyeri, feeling hopeless, and there was this song of Joanne Wairimu that was playing. It was a hit back then. Mungu wangu unajua sababu kwa nini niyapitie haya. Mungu wangu we wajua sababu kwa nini niyapitie haya. So this song was playing in the studios along the streets of Nyeri, and deep in our hearts we could feel the song, and we were like, you know what, it seems like God has another plan for us, and God knows where to take us next. That is the same words that we told each other with my friend. And by then we are just dragging our carry-ons, luggage bags with our clothes, and other than the money that we were paid, like 2,000, we didn't have any other money. And that was our hope up to the next level, of which we didn't even know where. So I called my cousin and I went to her place, and I was looking after her baby as she goes to work. But one day, my friend let me take you back a little bit. My friend, when we parted, she went back to the sister who used to live in Nyeri at the village. And now I went to Kingongo, close to the Kingongo police station, Kingongo prisons, and I was staying with my cousin's baby. But now she is a grown-up girl. And that is where I was living. And one day, Susan called me and told me, I am on my way to your cousin's house. Can you direct me? Which I did. I directed her, and she came. It was one afternoon, and she came and told me, you know what? I have decided we need to think deeply about this thing. We can only think outside the box and find out how we're going to end up in Nairobi. Because if we continue to live here in Nyeri, it's going to be hard for us. For one, we lost our job, and we cannot go back to the village. That is not a choice. By then, I hadn't even told my parents that I was fired. They knew I was working at that police post, but I wasn't working no longer, and I couldn't tell them because I didn't want to break their heart, and I didn't want to be called home to be told, you know what, if you're not working there no more, then all you can do is to just come here and help us to harvest the coffee. So I was very much done harvesting the coffee. I was very much done feeding the cows and stuff. I just wanted another life. And when Susan suggested that we find our ways to Nairobi, I was like, I'm in for it, but me, I don't know anywhere in Nairobi. I don't know nobody. So at least I know you have a sister in Nairobi. Personally, maybe if I end up in Nairobi, I'll be the first person to be in Nairobi in my family. And so she told me, you know what, I got you. We're gonna do this. I already called our friend of ours that we used to school together at Gogoro Secondary School, and she told me she lives with her auntie and uncle, and she already talked to the auntie because the auntie is well connected and she can find us jobs to do. But at the meantime, we're gonna be living at her house in South B, my friend. I started live in South B. Don't play with me. So, and we can be living with her, helping her with the housework. Although she has a house girl, she had a house girl. So I was like, you know what? I cannot say no. I can only say yes, 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 yes. And that same day, we got ourselves ready, and it was towards the evening. And I remember I called my cousin and told her, I just got a job in Nairobi. If you can tell me where I can leave your baby, you know, being young is somehow stupid. Because you can imagine calling someone to tell them you just got a job and where can you leave your baby. It's as if it's a luggage. That is how I was then. According to my age, that is my good thinking back then. So she told me, yeah, you can leave the baby with the neighbor. It is okay. And I will come and take care after her. So I left the baby, and by the way, Susan came to me when she was already prepared, so we didn't have to go to pick her bags and stuff. So we went to 2NK Sacco at Nyeri Town, and we boarded one. And my joy was so much, coming to think of it, like, today I'm gonna spend a night for the very first time in Nairobi. Nairobi, the Nairobi that I have always heard about, Nairobi that I always hear about traffic jams. I couldn't wait to see those traffic jams. And my friend was laughing at me because I was telling her, I can't wait to see the traffic jam. And see what she was like, you know, you think it's fun. It's not fun because we're gonna waste a lot of time, and maybe we will find that the person picking us up has already left. So I was like, no. There is no way I would enjoy being in Nairobi if we cannot see the traffic jam. I really want to see it. And she was like, oh my God, you won't enjoy it because it's going to be a long one and you will get tired. I was like, I better get tired, but at least I will witness the traffic jam. You know, that stupidity, villageness in me. So we went, and by the time we got at Githurai, the traffic was already on. It had started, and I was so happy. I was very happy because it was close to 7 p.m. and cars were lined up, you know, and their lights on, their headlights on. So it looked so good. Like I couldn't believe for my first time I'm getting to witness what is traffic jam, because in my village you just see one car, after a few hours another one passes, and those cars belongs to the most rich people in the village. They have the trucks, the, what do we call them, pickups. Okay, so now I'm here watching a lot of cars lined up, and to me it was the most exciting moment for me. So we got to Nairobi, it was past 7, and the person who was supposed to pick us up, the auntie of our friend, was still at her office waiting for us. And so we went and we called her. We are at tea room, and now even knowing tea room, to me it was a big deal because I just wanted to see this famous tea room. And we told her we are at tea room, and she told her how to get to her office, and we couldn't because none of us knew Nairobi well, so she had to come for us. And I remember she sent her husband. The husband came and picked us up. We went to the office and they finished whatever they were doing, and we got to their car. My friend, I got in a personal car. So it was so exciting, and I didn't even care what would happen after this. But the minute I saw they have a car and we are going to an expensive estate, and it is in Nairobi. That was all that I needed, and I couldn't even care what will happen after. So we went to her house. It was in South B. They have gates. So by then, South B was a very expensive estate, and I'm talking of 2007, 2006, 2006. Yeah. So we get to South B, and we get to see the expensive homes. And my friend, the minute we entered the house, I was like, oh my God, if this is not heaven, then I don't know how heaven should look like. This looks exactly like how I would think heaven looks like. So the house has upstairs, and now they're living the lower level, where they have the kitchen, they have the living room, they have a bathroom, and they have a dining room, and at the back they have servant quarter, and the place is well secured with the walls. And I was like, oh my God, what else would I be looking for if not to stay here forever? This is the heaven they talk about. So we stayed there, and that is how I ended up in Nairobi, and I had to become a house manager, aka a house girl, in order for me to find somewhere to live in Nairobi. After all, I didn't know anyone in Nairobi. I didn't have relatives. I didn't have a friend. The only way that could have ended me up in Nairobi was to become a house girl, and I became one. So we stayed with that lady, and she was a very nice lady from Muranga, and she was treating us good, and she could find us jobs, of course, house girl jobs. And I remember Susan was the first one to get job, and myself, I had to be left behind with the house girl now, her house girl, to be helping her with jobs as she continued looking for work for me. And one morning, the house girl said she don't feel like she would want to work anymore, because she feel like this woman, this lady, she brought more people in the house other than how they had agreed, and there is no way she can continue cooking for so many people. And they had 2 kids by then, and they were little kids, very young kids. And she said she will quit. So she quit, and what do you expect? I became the new DM. I was promoted from a refugee to a house manager. Yeah. So I became the house manager, and I started working, and it was a lot of work to manage 2 little babies that were under 2. It was very hard for me. And remember, this is my first job. Even though I used to work for the granny, I was taking care of her. These are 2 kids, and it is never the same. It will never be the same working with or taking care of an adult versus babies. Babies, they have a lot of work because both of them were eating different food, and you have to prepare differently, and you have to feed each at a time, and both of them are using diapers, and so many other things. And it was chaotic, it was crazy. And at some point, that lady was a good one, and she told me, you know what, I can find you a helper, because it seems like this is a lot of work. And I do believe it's a lot of work, because whenever you guys you go on Sundays for your offs, I am here with the babies, and I can tell it's a lot of work. You cannot do anything. So you are the one to wash the car before they get up. You are the one to clean up for the dog. You are the one to, and this is before they get up. You make uji for them, porridge. You make, I don't know, sandwiches. And it is in that same South B that I came to know of other things, that there are other foods that exist. For example, peanut butter. I didn't know it. I didn't know they are what we make the sandwich that goes in between. I don't know what they call balon or what. The ones that I don't eat them, because I am a typical Kikuyu. The traditional Kikuyu ones that cook gima, ugali, and sukuma wiki. That's my food, mukimo githeri. So there are those sandwich you make, and then you toast them. My first time to see a toaster was in that house. And my first time to see a blender was in that house. They had to teach me how to use it. But of course, I'm a quick learner. I got it. So you are the one to get up early, wash the car, swipe the backyard and do the washing of clothes, and you have to wash the clothes for everyone, and you are still the one to make tea, porridge, and sandwiches, and everything else that is needed done before they get up, so that when they get up they just take the tea in the morning and the sandwiches and stuff, and then they leave. Now you are left by yourself, and you still have clothes to wash, laundry to do. So you have two babies, two under two, and you have to maintain them, and you have to do everything else. You have to feed them and stuff. So it was crazy, and it was crazier than I thought. But you know what? The fact that I was living in South B, and the fact that I was living in a house, in a story house, that was giving me hopes and telling me, you know what? You have to do what you gotta do to remain here. You cannot go back to the village or boy. No way. You have to stay here and do this work, because it is only by being a domestic manager here that can earn you living here in this house. Remember, you're in this house because you are a domestic manager. And I was okay, because one way or the other, I am a lady. There is no way I can afford to be sleeping on the streets. I have to be in someone's house until I get on my feet and be able to get a job that can help me to live independently. I didn't mind. So I lived there, and that was how I started life in Nairobi. I started life as a domestic manager, and I value people who work as domestic managers. It is a long story. I can tell you about so many things that happened later. That wasn't the only place that I worked as a domestic manager. I think after 3 months I was fired. I was fired because of reasons that I'll come back here and tell you. But anyway, I am happy that I was fired, and I came to appreciate it later on, because God didn't want me to settle there. God knew, by seeing this high life here, my mind was already made to settle for that, because I could eat well. They didn't care about what we eat. They could even buy us clothes. They were a very good couple, a very nice couple. And even if I was fired, it was my mistake. It is not their mistake. It was my mistake. And I can confess and say that. And I was young and stupid, but now, now I know more, I know better. But for sure, I didn't steal nobody's husband. That is not the reason why I was fired. I was fired because of stupidity, some things that I did, and then I just crossed the boundaries of, I thought because I was the domestic manager, I can manage everything, but I didn't take anyone's husband. I have never done that, and I won't do it. And I was just a good house girl. I was doing my work well, until when a day came, and we thought, you know what, with now this girl that took us there to her auntie, she told me, you know what, you know the magazines that are up there, because they used to buy Gazette, and this Gazette, they used to read, and when they are done, they would put them upstairs in a certain room. A lot of them piled up. So this lady who took us there, the girl that we used to school together, told me, you know what, you know, in the future we will still need to be on our own, and to prepare for that, we need to start buying house utensils for us. And I was like, how are we gonna buy, and we don't have nothing? She was like, you know, there are these married people who walks around trading clothes and old newspapers with some. They can give you some glasses, they can give you some plates, they can give you some mugs. And the idea, now I bought the idea, and we did exactly that. But this lady who was our employer, when she went up there and she missed the newspapers, and she was like, Esther, where did my newspapers go? And we were like, we just used them to light the jiko, the charcoal, whatever. And she was like, all of them? And we were like, yeah, it takes a lot of time to light the jiko, so we used most of them. And she was like, no, you are lying. And me, I left to church, but my friend was left behind, and she was made to say the truth, of which she did. You can never steal with her. So she she said the truth, and when I came back from church, we were fired. And she said she doesn't have confidence with us, since we can lie and we can trade her magazine with in fact, she didn't say we traded with some kitchen utensils. She just said we gave them away because we didn't think she needed them. So even though she still fired us and she was told to move, so she moved, and she was in college for hairdressing. So she just dropped out of college because they were the one who were paying for her. And that is how I started hustling in Nairobi. And in the process, I came to know about green card, and today I'm in America. The next story, I'll feature it very soon, and I'll tell you about what transpired later. So may I see you on the next part 2 of this. Keep enjoying this. Bye bye.